In the last decade, the number of patients waiting for a transplant has doubled, while at the same time the actual number of transplants has remained almost entirely flat. That really has to do with our aging population. We're just getting older. Medicine is doing a better job of keeping us alive. But as we age, our organs tend to fail more. So that's a challenge, not just for organs, but also for tissues. Trying to replace pancreas, trying to replace nerves that can help us with Parkinson's. These are major issues. This is actually a very stunning statistic. Every 30 seconds, a patient dies from diseases that could be treated with tissue regeneration or replacement.
This particular printer we're designing now is actually one where we print right on the patient. So what you see here is, I know it sounds funny, but that's the way it works, because in reality, what you want to do is you actually want to have the patient on the bed with the wound, and you have a scanner, basically like a flatbed scanner. That's what you see here on the right side. You see a scanner technology that first scans the wound on the patient, and then it comes back with the print hits, actually printing the layers that you require on the patients themselves. This is how it actually works. Here's a scanner going through, scanning the wound. Once it's scanned, sends information and layers the correct layers of cells where they need to be. And now you're going to see here a demo of this actually being done in a representative wound. And we actually do this with a gel, so that you can lift the gel material. So once those cells are on the patient, they will stick where they need to be. And this is actually new technology still under development. So the strategy here is this is actually a CT scan, an X-ray, and we go layer by layer using computerized morphometric imaging analysis and 3D reconstruction to get right down to those patients' own kidneys. We then are able to actually image those, do 360-degree rotation to actually analyze the kidney in its full volumetric characteristics, and we then are able to actually take this information and then scan this in a printing computerized form. So we go layer by layer through the organ, analyzing each layer as we go through the organ, and we then are able to send that information, as you see here, through the computer and actually design the organ for the patient. This actually shows the actual printer, and this actually shows that printing. In fact, we actually have the printer right here. So while we've been talking today, we've actually, you can actually see the printer back here in the backstage. That's actually the actual printer right now, and that's been printing this kidney structure that you see here. It takes about 7 hours to print the kidney, so this is about 3 hours into it now.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the, anyone? The Great Depression, passed the, anyone? The tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which, anyone, raised or lowered? Raised.
I'm Jonathan Bergman, and I work at Woodland Park High School. Now, there was kind of a moment, a revelational moment, when at the end of the year, my kids do a big final project. One of the pieces of the final project is a interview. So I interview them and ask them key conceptual questions about what they were supposed to have learned during the course of the year. And some kids more kids than I was happy with didn't really get it. It's like, where have you been for the past 9 months? If you don't understand this, you really haven't almost been in my class. And they had been, so it was disturbing. That's kind of what made me think there's got to be a new way. Well, we went to a mastery system where students, when they get to the end of a unit, they have to master the content. So when they completely passed the objectives, they have to meet a minimum requirement, which is 75%. So when they meet that minimum requirement, they can move on. If they don't, then they have to go back and do what they don't do. So that sort of assured that they've actually learned it. So the big thing has been the mastery, but the recordings have been huge because it frees me up to walk around and interact with kids. The surprises that we've had that have been really amazing is that I can differentiate for all learners. And what that means is that if I've got a kid who is a rocket scientist, I can challenge him in this mastery system. And I've got a kid who really struggles with my content, I can challenge him. In the old system, I had to kind of shoot for the middle. Now I can actually have all the levels shot. Every kid kind of gets a different education, and I think that's okay. My name is Jonathan Bergman. I'm a teacher, a father, a husband. I'm a triathlete, and I love Camtasia Studio.
I'm Aaron Sams, and I teach science here at Woodland Park High School. My ultimate goal, I guess, as a teacher is to help students become learners who can learn for themselves and by themselves. One of the problems that I was guilty of even prior to flipping my classroom around was the classroom was centered around me. I told them exactly what to learn, how to learn it, what assignments to do to learn it, and when to learn it, and how to prove to me that they learned it. I don't do that anymore. We changed the place in which content is delivered. Instead of standing in front of a class and delivering, here's how you do this type of problem, here's how this works, I deliver that direct instruction now asynchronously at home through these videos that we make with Camtasia Studio.
Times till whole.
Oh, we didn't do that last time.
The last step, they were already whole numbers. We had 1, 1, and 4. Here we don't have a whole number. So here's a few little tricks when you need to multiply by whole numbers. If one of your numbers ends in 0.5, you're going to multiply by 2.
All right, something 0.5 times it by 2.
Right.
Okay, write this down, guys.
Yes. If something ends in 0.3 or 0.33 or 0.66, you multiply by 3.
And when the kids come to class, they don't show up to learn new stuff. They show up to apply the things that they learn at home and to ask me questions about the things they learned at home. So now they can have my lesson, if you will, what I would normally have stood up and lectured to them in class with some added features. They get that at home, and then what they were expected to do for homework is now what they do in my class. Life is different for me because I no longer am the guy who stands up in the front of the classroom and just yaks at a student for an hour or however long the class is. Now I walk around the class and I help kids. I'm a tutor, I'm a guide, I'm the putter-outer of fires, whatever it happens to be. In my crazy chemistry class, I walk around and do that. I don't stand up front and teach under the kind of the traditional model. I'm Aaron Sams. I'm a teacher, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and I love Camtasia Studio.